everyone, welcome to our channel, and in today's video we're going to be showing you how to make this beautiful front porch sign. This is a really unique design. We're using a beautiful dark gray with the ivory homemade stencil letters that I'm going to show you how to make in the video that you can make at home with the cute little pumpkin at the bottom. We use some buffalo plaid as our ribbon at the top. These signs in the home department stores are selling from $25 to $60. So the wood for this sign we got for under $10, so we're going to show you a really inexpensive way to give you a great unique look for your front porch. So these are the boards that we purchased for our sign. We got these at a Lowe's Home Improvement Center, and the two tall boards, they are called dog ear fence pickets, and these are 6 feet high. They're about 5.5 inches wide, and then these boards are about 3/4 inch thick. They do have some different thicknesses, so get whichever thickness that you prefer. And these are only about $2.50 a piece. I can't believe how reasonable these are and how expensive these signs sell for in the store when you can make them for such an inexpensive price. Then you're going to need one of these Gothic pickets. This is about 4 feet high, and we're going to use this to make our joists on the back. This is what we're going to cut. When I saw the dog ear pickets first laying down, I thought, well, 6 foot tall, that's going to be too big. But when you stand it up there, you can see that they're really a perfect size to have for your front door. And you could always trim the bottom if you need it a little bit shorter, and you can always take those dog ears off the top if you don't like that. But I like that look, so I'm going to leave those on my sign. Now there is a slight roughness to these boards. I just took this is a sandpaper it's made on that little hand sander. I think I actually got that at Walmart. That's something that I had from another project, and I just really quickly went over these boards, maybe like 5 minutes, went over the one side that I'm going to put my stencils on. It's not something that you have to do, but it's something that will just make a little bit finished look. So next we're going to start putting our sign together, and you want to just lay your boards even at the bottom and then measure across. Don't just assume that it's 11 inches. It's roughly 11 inches across. And then you want to measure your Gothic picket to make your supporting joists on the back. And you can measure on your wood with a measuring tape, or you can lay your board down across there and mark it whichever way that you prefer. We actually have a chop saw that my husband has here to cut these, and we're going to make 3 joists on the back of mine. You could get away with 2, or if you want to put 4. We put one roughly in the center there, about 3 feet, and then one closer to the end and one closer to the top. You want to be sure the first time that we went to put this together, we didn't squeeze those boards together while we were doing this, and it left a little slight gap there, or more of a gap than I wanted. So be sure when you do go to put this together that you have somebody on whichever end that you're starting with holding those boards together. We do have a staple gun, so he's just putting some staples in here, and this is the one where we didn't have somebody holding it together. So you want to be sure when you're doing this that you have somebody holding it at the end and squeezing it together. If you don't have a staple gun with the air tools, you can buy some small staples or some finishing nails at a home improvement center or a hardware store to put your boards together. So this next step is optional. I stained my sign. I used an espresso stain, and that's a really dark stain. That's the first time I've used this color, but I would recommend using a medium to a dark stain. That will help protect your sign. It will also give the back of it a really nice wood finish, and then give it a weathered look over time. And this is a really quick step. Just get you some I get brushes from the Dollar Tree and just apply it really quickly, let it dry overnight, and then I went back and I'm going to use a spray paint for the front of my sign. This is a gray spray paint, and this is also a quick step. Just apply this and let it dry, and then we're going to start our stencils. So this is my sign outside in the daylight. I wanted to show it up against that white door so you could see that beautiful rich gray color. And using the dark stain, it almost appears to be a stain. It turned out really beautiful. I think the color did that gray. I'm going to turn it over and let you see the back. That espresso is really dark, and it gives it that really rich color. So moving on to the stencils, I made my own homemade stencils, and I was trying to find some free printable stencils online, and I just couldn't get the right size and the right font and things to work out. So what I did was I just went on Word, got the right font that I wanted, and I had to play around with the size. My letters are roughly about 6 inches, and that's a perfect size if you want the pumpkin at the bottom. If you don't want the pumpkin, you may want to make your letters a little bit longer. And then the cardstock is a little bit larger than an 8x11 piece of paper, so I just cut the cardstock out to be an 8x11 inch paper and just put it in a laser printer, and it worked great to print off my letters. So this next step, you want to spend a little time doing this step. You want to make sure you get your letters lined up straight and even on your sign so it's all in line. I tried to line up that outside edge of the stencils, and I taped my stencil down, like I taped the G down and slid the R up underneath there and then taped it down. I did have to cut the cardstock down a little bit more, so some of the top and the bottom of each letter is trimmed down to make all my letters fit and to leave enough room for the pumpkin to be there on the bottom. But definitely spend some time making sure everything is straight and in line, have everything taped, and then definitely stand back and look at it and see if everything looks centered to you before you start painting. And when you're starting to paint your stencil, all I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down with my fingers. I'm going to push down at the part that I'm working on. I used the ivory chalk paint that I purchased from Walmart. I've used that for several projects, so it goes a long way. And then I'm using a stencil brush that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just holding the stencil tight where I'm working, and I'm just tapping down. You don't have to have a lot of paint on your brush, really less is better. You just want a small amount and kind of have working kind of a feathery, light application is what you're aiming for when you're doing these stencils. Slowly work your way around and just hold down the stencil at each part that you're working on. And I was wanting to try to show you as I'm moving around just so you can see my fingers moving, and then where I'm just continuing to tap around there. And I tried to go around the line and then kind of go back and fill in the center. So it's really whichever way that you prefer. Just really, you want to hold those areas down as you're moving around. And you have to be real careful that, have my letter taped in place, but you want to be careful that you don't slide your paper around. So this is, you want to spend some time on this step. Do it when you have that extra time to work on this. So here's my G, and we're just filming as I'm working along, and it really turned out great. I can't believe that I was able to print these stencils from the cardstock. It has 3 sheets that came in a pack. So if you do each letter, you'll definitely need to purchase 3 packs from the Dollar Tree. I think the last 2 letters I actually used printer paper because I didn't have enough packs, but all of the other letters are done on the cardstock, and this works great to make stencils with, and it's so inexpensive. I tried to find ones online, and I just couldn't really find the right size to order. It was hard to tell which size to order online, so I'm glad I didn't spend that extra money on something like that when I could make it at home on my own. And these really turned out perfect, the size for this sign. So here's our finished letters. I just wanted you to see like the U there. There is one little place I've got to go back and touch up there, and that's something that's easy to do. I'm just really amazed how well that this turned out and how well that the cardstock is a great way to make stencils with that added thickness of the paper for you to make your own stencils. The last, I'm going to go back and make a pumpkin, and I'm just free-handed my pumpkin. I did try to find a free stencil online, and again, I just couldn't get the size right. So I'm going to actually start with the stem. I just wanted to kind of briefly show you how I was doing it, and we have a still shot there at the end of the pumpkin. And if you don't want to put the pumpkin, space your letters out a little bit more. You can make your letters a little bit bigger, or you can leave a little bit more room at the top if you don't want to put the pumpkin. Space your letters out and put a little bit more ribbon or something at the top if you would prefer to do that. So I'm just making my stem first, and then I'm going to make a center there, just kind of a large center. So I want you to be able to see here what I'm painting, and then we'll do the still shot of the pumpkin. I think this really makes the grateful sign look really festive for Thanksgiving and fall. And it really gives a nice, unique look, something that not all your neighbors are going to have, and they're not going to all be able to go to the store and buy something. So it gives you a nice, unique look to put outside. So I'm just filling in the center here. And then I just went around the sides of it as well, kind of that stenciled look. So here's the steel frame photo of my pumpkin. I think he's really cute. I love the way that he turned out. And I just put some little vines there around the top of it. So here's my sign when I finished my painting before I put the ribbon on. I just wanted you to see it up against that white background. It really makes that gray look stand out, and such a unique look. I love the way that all the colors turned out, and that gray really makes those white letters pop out. The pumpkin looks great at the bottom, gives you that extra festive touch. Also makes it a welcome, inviting sign for you to have on your front porch. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some ribbon, and all I'm doing is I got the buffalo plaid check ribbon at Hobby Lobby, and I just tied it around there and tied a knot. I previously made a bow with some floral wire, and I'm just tying it on here, securing it to that piece that I had tied around there. And then I am going to go back and hot glue gun my bow here up against that and hot glue the ribbon on the back, just so it wouldn't happen to slide down my sign. So here's our finished front porch sign with the ribbon on. And if you don't want the ribbon on there, you can definitely leave that off. This really looks great with these unique colors. This will give your front porch a unique design, or if you want to put it inside, if you have a big mantle or a nice place inside, it will look great inside as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our channel and check out our other seasonal DIY videos. I have to say that this has really inspired me to make stencils. I think I've always been more of a freehand painter, but knowing now that I can make these on such an expensive way and still get a really high-end look with making my own stencils has definitely inspired me to make some more. And we hope you enjoyed this look. This is really a high-end look that you can decorate your indoor or outdoor living spaces. If you do use this sign outdoors, you would want to definitely put some kind of a clear coating over your paint there, over your letters, to make sure it's protected from the weather. Well, thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video today. And this is just a little silly funny from Halloween we thought you might get a laugh from. Hope you enjoy it.